Recording in progress.
Good evening. It's whatever is it today, August 27th, Payson Planning Commission. Welcome. We have looks like 5 commissioners present. Commissioner Haymuli and Commissioner Gedabor are not here. Everybody else is. So that'll get you your roll call. Okay. I've asked Commissioner Brinkerhoff to give us a prayer, please.
Our dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for allowing us to gather as a planning commission today for the city of Payson and to be able to work together to better the city that we live in. And we thank thee for this beautiful land and for the opportunity that we have to serve. And please bless us and please help us to be guided in our decision making. And please bless the citizens of Payson that they will be watched over and protected. When we say in the name of Jesus Christ, amen.
Amen. Thank you. Okay, did everybody have a chance to look at the minutes from the August 13th meeting? I have no idea whether it's right or wrong because I wasn't there, so.
I didn't have any,
Blamed you for everything.
yeah, didn't have any problem with them. They were very short, luckily. Not a lot of minutes there.
Okay. I need a motion to approve the minutes.
I move we approve the minutes from our previous meeting.
I second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, moving on. Public forum.
Just so you know, Bob is on.
Okay, so now we got to do roll call. Yippee skippy. Thanks, Bob.
Sorry about that. About 5 minutes out.
You're coming?
Yep.
Okay, good. Glad.
Other than the motions anyway.
Yeah. That's true. There aren't any tonight. So, Jill, you're our only public. Do you want to say anything? I guess we don't need a public forum, so we'll move on to the work session. We're going to talk about Title 13, I believe 20, 21, and 22, right? Oh, and we,
Just 2022, 24, right?
yeah, 22, 21, or 2022. Yeah, 2022 and 24, whatever it is.
Yeah, water, 21.
Yeah, we're not gonna do water. Does our attorney have anything he wants to say before we move on?
No, sorry I'm late. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. I asked Jill too, so it's okay. I didn't single you out.
All right, so supplementary provisions, we had a little bit that we talked about on this last time. For example, that red there is the interior connection we approved.
Right.
That's for in the accessory apartments. That's state law that it's for something required. But the other things that I put on there, portable carports and projections in the setbacks, these are things that we deal with regularly, and it might be useful to have some better clarification on these things. So maybe we look at those for a minute and get some input for you from you.
Okay.
Portable carports, the biggest thing with that is portable's kind of loosely defined.
That was going to be my question. What do you define as a portable carport? One that just sits on top of concrete and isn't bolted down?
Well,
Or is canvas?
we're gonna talk about it. Yeah. So this is the section on portable carports. We've actually used it quite a bit to allow for people to put carports in because our code doesn't otherwise allow them to get closer to the property line.
Because of the setback issues, okay?
So the hard thing about this is it's not that portable once they can do some of the things they can. For example, they can attach it to their house. They can anchor it to the ground with anchor bolts into a slab of cement or something. I think the intent here is that you don't want them to have foundation walls and things like that, then they eventually close, and then pretty soon it's a rod, and then it's an accessory apartment. Then we have issue with that are on the setbacks, that are on the easements, all these sort of things. But for these metal carports and things that are relatively easy to move and we felt as if it's useful, but maybe some of this language might. So perhaps look at that and give us some feedback.
My suggestion would be to say what you can't have. For example, you can't have a footing or foundation.
Which it does.
You're gonna have a problem with the wind coming up and taking them.
Yes,
So they're gonna
but
need
that's
something to
just
sell.
slab.
I'm just a little spot footing to bolt them down.
Well,
just
yeah,
Like
okay.
that, but
A spot footing for a column, that's probably fine.
so that's,
But a long, a linear foundation and footing, no.
no, and not attached to a house.
Right.
So
So,
it does say in part B,
Mhm.
number one, it says that shall not be placed on a permanent foundation. I think we might need to further define that because I think it could be anchored to a slab of concrete, but we shouldn't be pouring footings and foundations for.
Yeah.
Other might be, for example, it really should be made out of easily movable building materials. I don't want to say necessarily just metal, but that's kind of what I'm thinking. Because if they build it out of wood and they.
If it's stick built, it's gonna be tough to move.
Right. Well,
If it's self-standing and just sitting next to the,
you can get a Simpson tie and anchor that into some slab of concrete and put a wood beam up and then put several of them up and then all of a sudden you build a wall and
Right.
you're enclosing it. It doesn't meet any kind of building code.
no.
It's an unsafe structure, things like that. So I think maybe a little more clarification on
maybe
that.
something that's portable. I guess that's the best way to describe it. I mean, cause framed, you're not gonna be able to move it. And you're talking about a movable concept, so like a metal one be that's the way I look at it.
What if you put something about it cannot be fully enclosed because sometimes you want it on one side for the sun or whatever, or, you know, but if you just say that it can't be fully enclosed, then you,
There is some.
I-
to that. Maybe it's in the definition.
okay, I was gonna say, I didn't see it here just looking on the screen, but,
Yeah,
It's kind of the definition of what it's not.
right.
But that could be some further clarification.
So something with no walls on it, something like that is what we need to clarify.
I think having a wall, at least sometimes on one side, is helpful because people put it there to protect a boat or whatever their RV, whatever they're parking there, having the wall on the one side. Or,
You know, even metal enclosures, metal carports, some of them have sidewalls, but they're still portable.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if it makes sense to say like not enclosed more than 75% so that that one side is always,
Maybe, yeah.
are they allowed to have a door on that side, like a garage type door, or is that when it crosses over into no longer portable?
It depends.
You gotta determine that line, because what we don't wanna see, because you can actually get closer to the property line with a portable one if you can a permanent structure.
Right.
So there's that, you know, if you let them go too far, it's just gonna be a matter of time till they fully enclose, and then there's gonna be other issues because, but yes, you've gotta have something defined.
But if you define them only as metal structures, for example, you can get a carport with a roof and sidewalls, and it's still a portable structure.
Everything should be.
I mean.
Anything's portable, you got a big enough truck for that.
So I think that the definition is gonna be really important because we're really talking about those portable structures, you know, the metal roof, the post that you come and you pass it down on. I mean, yeah, we wanna make sure that
Right.
the definition is really tight because, yeah, I mean, we have that all the time with people coming in and it's like, well, this isn't permanent. We hear that a lot. This isn't permanent. I can move it. Well, yes, but to move it is going, it's not gonna be a weekend project or it's not gonna be inexpensive. So, yeah, everything can be temporary. It's just if you haven't.
Right.
Sure.
So we have this issue with our right of ways and the pipelines and that. And it's defined as no permanent structures. And we define a permanent structure as something that has a footing and foundation. If it's sitting on a slab on grade and it's, for example, a tough shed with a floor, that's a portable structure type thing. But if it requires a footing and foundation for its support, it is not portable. So that's the way we define it at the district. I don't know if that helps, but that's,
Then as far as attachment, if it's attached to the home, maybe we get with the official and maybe get his input.
if it attaches to the home only for rain purposes, that's different than if it attaches to the home and that's part of the structure. The home is part of the structure, then it's a problem. It's not portable then. If the home is part of the structure to keep it up, then it's not portable.
If it's anchored to the home, that's fine, but if they install flashing and roofing and all sorts of things to join it to the home, that's part of it. Is that what you're saying?
No, I don't really have a problem with flashing and that because that really can be moved, but the problem I have is if, for example, it's only got posts on one side and the carport is truly dependent upon the house, it's not portable.
So like when there's a shared wall.
Right. Like if it's just a lean-to type and one side is hooked to the building, the house, it's not portable, in my opinion.
If it can't stand alone elsewhere.
Exactly. It's not portable. That would be my thinking. Do you agree with that, Bob? I'm talking to the builder, that's why I'm asking.
The second he sits down, you got it?
Totally.
He was on the
Yeah.
phone. He heard
I
it.
know.
And Bob joined at 6:10, so 6:12. Okay. In person. He joined earlier, so. So the definition of portable needs to be strengthened and we probably need, I'm gonna say this out loud, some legal weasel words, okay? I'm sorry. Sometimes the legal profession has strange words for things, so.
So I'm just jotting things down so that we get the gist of
Right.
what he wants. The nice thing about this is we're hoping to get an attorney to actually do the hard work. So they're gonna be able to have both the legal ease.
Right.
What did you say?
Legal weasel words.
But anyway, legal. That's defensible in court.
I don't think so either, but, okay, sorry.
Anyway, so they'll have that legal background to understand how things
Right.
could potentially be manipulated, but they also have land use.
Land use background.
to understand how this thing works.
So you're gonna try to find a land use attorney or someone similar to that?
I think that's the idea.
Okay.
We've got a few in mind that we're the proposal to, and one
Good.
that we've actually submitted a proposal.
Good.
All right. Further thoughts on portable carports. I really like these because a lot of people come in and want to do this and they have 10 feet on the side of it.
Yeah, and there's, after you put the 5-foot minimum for any ancillary structure, that isn't wide enough to even park a motorcycle in.
Well, this one shows 3 for the carport. It lets him go to 3, but yeah.
The temporary carport or a portable carport lets it go to
Right, that's what I'm saying. If you have to hold the regular setback for an ancillary type thing, it's at least 5. So,
Any further thoughts on this before we go into the next?
can you have them, commit in writing to remove it if needed?
Anytime that anything is erected or placed in easement area, that's always something. I don't know that we need to put it in code, but it is codified.
The only reason I said to put it in writing is that if they've put their signature to it, it's harder for them to say, oh, I didn't see that. So that's the only reason.
What do you want me to say?
Well, I just look at it, is it possible to put it in writing that they agree that if it needs to be moved out of the easement? And you don't have to put it here, you could put it generally someplace else. If something needs to be relocated out of an easement, they have to agree to it in writing.
Sometimes it's nice to include it here though, so that they're not like, oh, I didn't realize this reference
Right.
somewhere else. So if you just put that, if the carport encroaches upon an easement, it has to be removed at the owner's expense if
Yeah,
necessary.
and you would, if there's other places that we need to have that, you could actually just reference those other
Right.
places in here.
But yeah, at least have
Or
a
not
reference
those other
to it.
places,
So that
but
was a,
reference the
yeah, section,
language
whatever,
someplace else. Yeah,
refer to section, whatever on easement encroachment and
right.
when placing carport. But yeah,
Yeah, wherever you want to put that.
Okay, so our next section is in there as well, projections into setbacks. Thoughts on that? These are kind of the hot topic items we get in this.
The ones you get all the time.
Yeah. I don't know if any of you have had any issues with things being put in your setbacks. I mean, typical things you can see in here, decks, patios, patio covers, porches, that sort of thing. We've had a lot recently of the patio covers where they want to kind of enclose a deck or a patio. It's still a, I wouldn't call it part of the home or anything because they're usually only one more temporary style shade structures or whatever to close it with. And so we feel as if that's fine. We've been able to use this language of patio cover here. But I just wonder from your perspectives, that be used, and if so, how best that keep it well.
So just to make sure everybody understands, a setback is the area of the building envelope. So there's a building envelope on every lot. Is that what we're talking about? Okay, and the building envelope, for example, most of the zones is like 25 foot on the front, okay?
And 25 in the rear.
And 25 in the rear and 10 on the sides or whatever it is. 8 or 10 on the sides. So it's got that building envelope, and what this is saying is that sometimes it's allowable to put something into beyond that if it's not integral to the main building or not required for the main building to function.
And the big one with that would be, for example, use porch overhangs, things like that that are not structurally part of the building, but they are.
Right.
And then the ones that we see the most are usually the decks and patios, patio covers. But that being said, thoughts or questions about that? Are you okay with how far that these things can project into the setback? Should it be less? Should it be more? One thing I really don't like is on one of these it says how far it can extend into the setback, and then the very next part of it, there, 15 feet from the rear property. So the first thing says decks may extend 5 feet into the rear, into the front setback, but then the next part is or project 15 feet from the rear. I think that maybe we should keep the language the same and say it can project up to 10 feet into the rear setback.
Yeah.
Instead of this reads opposite in this same sentence.
I would agree with that. I don't know about everybody else, but I would agree with that. That it makes more sense to have it read the same way. So you're measuring the same dimension. Do you, do you allow, I guess in this case, it's all right. Never mind. I was gonna say where you've got something underneath that area, if it's an easement, for example, it's different. You don't want to have posts out in that. But where this is just into a setback, it's probably fine to have a post in that to support that corner of the porch or whatever.
Well, or I'll approach it a different way. So I believe when these regulations were created, well, we typically have a 25-foot front setback, 25 rear setback, and 8 feet on.
Yeah.
We are starting to see lots get smaller.
And if we allow 40-foot lots, you won't be able to get 8 feet on either side.
And so I don't know if we have to like put the other way also, that in no case can it be this close. I mean, because we still want to allow the projection. Because I think there is good reason to allow for projections. But if you say it can project,
Then do it the other way. Just do it the same both directions.
right, because if the lots aren't as deep, and if you word it one way that you can project in 10 feet, it might be 2 feet away from the property line.
Right.
You see, anyway, so we might have to think about that one a little bit, because I think before we were thinking all lots are going to at least be 25 feet in depth, or at least have that 25-foot setback, not necessarily. But now you have more and more requests for
Right.
modified setbacks.
Right.
Oh, we want only be 5 feet from the side property line. We only want to have a 15-foot rear setback or front setback. And we may even consider that with the code rewrite of maybe adjusting, and that's probably one thing, maybe you talk with Michael about this, but maybe the front setback needs to be 15 feet instead of 20. If they'll still keep the garage setback 25 feet, so you can have parking. But we have talked a little bit about reducing the front setback to also help with water conservation.
Yeah, where you, what is it? Isn't the city's current thing 35% is grass now, or is the most you can have, or something in the front?
So I think we have to look at this a little bit different than we have before. I mean, that's what's gonna be so tricky about this code rewrite is, one section affects the next. So
Right.
we have a lot of that. It's like we start talking about projections, we have to be thinking about how big the lots are.
Right.
And will the setbacks
I
be
mean,
modified?
there could come a time that we actually have a zone that's a 40 by 80-foot lot. 40-foot wide by 80-foot deep, and that's the lot size. It could happen.
So yeah, then do we just, instead of saying into the setback, we just say from the property line? You can go no closer than 3 feet or 5 feet to the property line, and then it doesn't matter what the setback is. And if that changes, then we've always just said you have to stay this far back from the property line.
I understand. I think we have to consider that
Yeah.
as well. I mean, you're thinking of projections of the house, but you also have to think about
Well, like I said, maybe we just change it to be from the property line, the dimension, instead of from the house or into the setback.
That brings into play, another thing we talked about previously, but, the lot coverage. How much lot coverage are we concerned about? I know that Robert has mentioned in the past about maybe lot coverage should only be for the home buildings and not for impervious surfaces such as concrete and asphalt and things like that. But as our code reads now,
It's
all those things combined.
all hard surfaces.
All hard surfaces and impervious surfaces like roofs and things like that. So is that a significant concern? Maybe?
What's the reason for the lot coverage, like limits or?
The logic is you're supposed to retain all water.
going down to your neighbor, or it's
And-
going into the city system. There's gotta be those points where some of it stays on the lot and percolates.
So in that case, we would want to include the hard surfaces, right?
Right, I'm just saying it for. And we are getting several homes that have higher amounts of lot coverage with all the things they want to put in. And then if we get even smaller lots, it's gonna be even much more difficult to.
Yeah.
I think we definitely need to change. In our, no. But I think we still need to think about storage.
And maybe if in the case of a high percentage of the lot being covered by something hard, building, concrete, whatever it may be, then those developments require different storm drainage requirements.
System or.
They require different size retention basins and that kind of stuff.
Well, that's not a concern in industrial and commercial.
No, I'm talking residential.
Yeah.
I'm talking
And-
residential.
and residential that's like a multifamily.
Right.
It's the single family homes that.
But if a developer comes in and they've got 50 lots that are 40 by 60, and they put the typical home on there that they're going to put, there's going to be about 10% that's not covered in hard surface, is all. That's it. And
They have to stick a shed on in their driveway.
yeah, there's not going to be very much grass. We're talking a 10 by 12 foot piece in the front and a 40 by 12 foot piece in the back. And that's the grand total of the grass.
And maybe that's sufficient.
Well, it might be,
Depends on the
but,
storm,
but
yeah.
the code might need to be written such that they have to prove that it is.
It all drains back into their own property. I mean, that's why, when
Right.
I've done some concrete, that's what I always have, so your water has to go back to your property.
Yep.
So it's their responsibility to take care of their own water, has to drain.
And that's not really a conversation for tonight, we've kind of talked about it, but it's just, as these lots get smaller, as the projections go into setbacks, all these sort of things are related, and that's just another one, is the lot coverage, but.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be something we have to consider, as we consider different lot sizes and we consider what these projections.
I do like the idea of maybe looking at some areas where we decrease the 25-foot front sun setback,
I think that that's something.
except for in the driveway area.
I think that that's fairly standard that we're seeing quite often.
Yeah.
You do have some ability. Already, to clean that up a little bit.
Yeah.
Most people don't use their front yard. So. It's really just a buffer.
Right.
But they do parking, so it's good to drive.
Yeah.
Okay, any other thoughts on projections in the set?
No.
Okay, let's move on then to our next section.
Did we ever cover, like, I can't remember if we talked about our previous meetings, but the 1320.140, the portable storage containers?
That's in the temporary,
Right. Did we talk about in our last meeting?
so that's gonna be this right here. Would be our third one.
Okay, because there's one in 1320.140.2 on portable storage containers, so that's why I wasn't sure.
1320.
Point two, yeah.
Point two.
So up a little ways there. So right there, we have portable storage containers. Because we've talked about allowing those as sheds. This prohibits that. So I didn't know if that needed to be reworded or,
And what are your thoughts on that?
because we had the conversation about people using them as a shed, or this limits them to a year or whatever. Right. We talked about allowing people to use them as a permanent shed or storage facility, and so then the terminology here prevents that.
Mhm.
There are actually quite a few companies that sell them for that purpose and advertise them for sheds.
And I don't have a problem with it as long as they make them look nice. We start adding murals, be like, if you put a mural on it, you can have a storage container in your backyard.
Yeah, that's a good catch, but maybe we can revisit that.
They actually make really good sheds.
Yeah. They customize them too with like.
And then I
doors and
had one
windows.
more question in 1320 before we jump to 1322 or whatever. It's on 1320 260.5. This is on smoke shops. Find it here. We just limit it to one, and I'm like, sorry, from a business standpoint, I hate restricting any business to one.
What section are you in?
1320 260.5.
Oh,
260. Yep, and you go down to 0.5, it's on smoke shops, and we allow 1 per 20,000 people according to our code.
So
Yeah, we have the
This-
ability to limit how many and we can change that.
I just, from a business standpoint, I think that's a dumb code personally.
this one, I think, has a negative mantra, if I can say that. And that's part of why state law has allowed you to do things such a way.
Yeah.
It's similar in nature in the sense of being able, especially where this has its own set.
Right.
Now, I don't necessarily disagree with you. I just think that council will make it. There'll be public that will say, limited.
Yeah. I don't like limiting business competition. I think it plays unfair advantage for businesses, and I think we should allow free trade. So, I would like
Well,
to make a note that we at least look at that.
We've exceeded
throw it out there.
20,000 residents, so maybe you write it such.
But that's
that-
per every 20,000. So we
I
hit
know.
40, we can't have a second one is the way I read that
But,
ordinance.
but
And-
maybe you modify it to say, or portion thereof or something, you know.
But if 4 of them want to open up and compete, as long as they're in the right place,
How many
I
residents?
don't see a,
184.
That's
Yeah.
what I was, sorry, 20, that's what I was gonna say, is that we have two in,
We've been interpreting it.
Mm.
For 20,000.
or,
Got one, and
then
any
more than.
fourth and above.
but like I said, if 4 of them want to open up and then the appropriate zone, so we just restrict them to the appropriate zone. If 4 of them want to open up, let 4 of them open up. So
You taking up smoking, Ryan?
I might, if we get the right shop in town. That's my next business venture. I mean, come on. So,
There's several intersections where you have a Maverick on 2 corners.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, you would think that that doesn't work, but it does.
well, and like I said, I'm like, if they can, we can control where they go by zoning. We can keep them away from schools. You can keep, that has to happen anyway. But like I said, if 4 people want to open one, why are we like, oh, sorry, nope, we're going to only let this one come in and do it this way? It just, I don't know, from a business standpoint, it seems like a really poor decision.
Is that why we have so many Mexican restaurants and?
We can start limiting that population too. Just be like, all right, pizza joints, Chinese restaurants.
But probably another
Fortunately,
Mexican.
there's nothing in state code that says.
Oh.
limit a restaurant.
Well, if we all like cooking food, that's why they stay in business.
And
I'm not
that's-
saying I agree with it, I'm just saying that's all.
That's really what I'm for, is if somebody wants to open it up,
How many other
and
Mexican
yeah,
restaurants?
if they want to open a business, it doesn't matter what it is, and they can make it work,
Yeah.
give them the opportunity to make it work. But saying, oh, sorry, just this one person who got here first now has complete monopoly on the market.
Well, that's what the state of Utah does with beers.
And I don't agree with that either, but I'm probably not going to win that battle anytime soon.
That's his next habit.
Yeah, it was still 1320. It's just,
Okay,
No,
I,
I'm just gonna make a general statement. I think one thing that's important too is that we will also coordinate with other departments that may have to, for example, those special needs department may have some thoughts on that as well.
Right.
And we do that with all fire department on different things. We meet with them and, you know, as planners, we have an idea of maybe how something should be applied and we have the departments that realize that there's gonna be some conflict there.
Yep.
So we would do the same thing with this one.
Yep.
too. Opinions on whether or not there's any other-
Well, and I think we can, like I said, we can control that by zoning, saying, hey, you can only be in this zone, or you can only, you know, it's only permitted in these zones and things like that. So I think we can control that aspect well enough. So it's just, you know, or it has to be X amount of feet. I think that's state law anyway. It has to be so far away from schools and whatever else. It can't be too close to a school or whatever else, but so.
so our next section's planned residential developments. This that you see here in black is all the text that we have in the zoning for planned residential developments.
you know, all of 3
The
paragraphs.
reason being is it's mostly in 1212 in our subdivision. But I put this in here because it's kind of wonky, because it talks about the city council and after planning commission recommendation and all this. But then you go to the code, because section 12, the subdivision code, talks about how that's the approval process that you follow as a subdivision code. You don't go to planning commission, council subdivision. So maybe we need to have some language to help this a little bit, to understand that if somebody's deviating from the zoning code, that's an opportunity to come to planning commission and city council to get a better design, get a better product. Maybe they want more density, so we're gonna request something more. And so it'd be good to have language of how that's spelled out. It'd also be good to have language in there that Jill and I have talked about this a lot. I think it would be helpful to do something where they have a very limited amount of density that they can do, but if they want to have more density, then we require this much more to do. And if they want more, then they get this much more. So, for example, we require better housing design on the exterior, require more amenities, require more open space. Those sort of things would all play into them potentially getting the density that they want. We had some tools and mechanisms that are in place for regulating that. One, I think the development community appreciate it. Two, it would give us the tools to say, no, you only get 3 units to the acre. You can get up to 8 if you do this, 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 and this.
Do we need to have it both in subdivision regulations and in zoning?
No, and that's why I think this is very limited here. I think you can see at the bottom, it says planned unit development, and then our code says planned residential. So it has a little language that a planned unit development is going to be referred to as the same as residential. That's really all that's saying. But then this section 1322.010, that's just referring to the other code. But I think there's this just needs a little bit of update so that we understand the process, and perhaps Title 12 needs to update and lay out that process.
Yeah, Title 12 still, or Section 12 still talks about planning commission and city council and all that other good stuff, so.
Mhm.
So, but the way that Title 12 also reads is that the preliminary plan and the final plat are approved by, they say, the land use authority.
Yeah, I think it says land use authority
Development of staff, not planning
now,
commission.
yeah.
But planned unit developments, maybe they need I would think, for example, they work with staff for the preliminary processes, but then they bring it to planning commission and city council planning commission or city council, maybe both,
I would,
for preliminary approval. And then, once they got preliminary approval, they just work out final approval with staff. Already got this back, getting layout, they can't get in for the density, whatever. They're just finishing up the product. That's just my thought.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
That there ought to be a legislative body that looks at it and gives them some boundaries. Gives them
So-
some.
Previously, we've done PRDs and we did quite a few, and people would come in and request them, and it was to change frontages, change lot configuration, massing of units in this side, and then leaving the open space over here. And we'd have people using the PRD ordinance to do stuff like that. And so I think, yeah, if you haven't, but I think at that point, you're way off from the normal subdivision process. So it's got to be something that's reviewed and approved. But then once they get the initial approval, if it goes back through staff, I don't see a huge issue that way. But I can't imagine approving a PRD, because at least the ones we've seen were usually a pretty far variation from a standard subdivision. So,
As they're requesting the modifications, it's a
Yeah.
so, but there was a point when we saw quite a few people trying to use that to do their development. The one actually over there by Walmart that's over the creek, was that not a PRD, the way they had to do that, where it crosses the creek down there off 930 that goes, I thought we did that one under a PRD. That's like those 13 units there. Because I'm pretty sure they had to do that one with a PRD because the way that the lot configuration came out and everything else.
Yeah,
And that was the way of getting around
Yeah.
standard lot sizes and.
Yeah, some developers have used it just for the flexibility in lot frontage and lot area, like you said.
Right.
And they haven't asked for any more units.
Right.
They've just had a weird piece of property and just needed to have flexibility. And then
They
there's
needed some configuration changes. Right.
Right.
Which I think is good to have both options, because
Right.
sometimes people just need to have some deviation in order to work with the configuration.
Right. And like I said, that might mean massing the homes in one area to leave a better open space, because we can change the lot sizes and stuff that way to make a better layout for a parcel or so.
I think instead of saying the city council may and planning commission, all that, in both places, the first paragraph is just C section 1212 and call it good. And then include the PUD and PRD definition. That they're the same.
Yeah, and I don't know if you can see on your screens there what I
Mhm.
wrote, but I just put refined language so that it's understood how to process, and revise 1212 to pull the layout process, and 1212 should also have.
Agree?
Yep.
Any other thoughts on planned residential developments? Perfect.
How you gonna drag this one out for 2 hours, this next one?
Drag it out for 15 more minutes. So
That's why I see these two sections a little small.
Oh, yes.
about the temporary uses. So Marty loves temporary uses, especially when it comes to fireworks and Christmas. Any input you want to share?
Well, we've already kind of moved all the fireworks issue things over to the fire department. I don't feel that.
So when they come in for a permit, you just send them to the fire department.
Fire department handle. No. Because what was happening was, by the time they did everything and I got word that everything was good to go, it was already done and over with. So the license never actually got issued. So it just was Christmas tree lots are fine. You know, stands.
You're not licensing little Joey with his lemonade stand, are you?
Thing is that the license is good for the end of the year. Normally, it's just the summertime. And the one thing, well, this is our business license code than this, I'd like to change. How, it's like they have to reapply for a new license. I'd like to change that somehow where they can, you know, they have prior license.
Pay additional fee and renew it.
Yes, they would pay the fee to be able to renew it without having to submit outreach over again. But everything is the same.
Just like a normal business license.
There was language in here about they were. Maybe it's in the business section.
It might be, but minors, if they have just a temporary business that they do occasionally, they're not required.
That would cover your lemonade.
Okay. So all we got to do is if we want to do a little business like this is look like a kid.
So we're encouraging child labor then, be like, hey, get your
Use
kids to
your
do it
kids.
because they don't need
Have
the
your grandkids done, yeah.
license.
It says that any business that is only done occasionally is not required.
Okay. What's the definition of occasional?
Not just
That's
minors.
what I was
Okay.
Well, I don't know that it's defined.
Okay.
Up for interpretation.
I just remember there was a store that was going out of business for 5 years. So
It's occasionally
I-
going out.
I've
Right.
not had anybody that said anything about, well, I only do that occasionally, you know, 5 days a week. I haven't had, so it really hasn't.
Any thoughts from any of you about temporary uses? I think our biggest one that we have are fireworks stands, Christmas tree lots, and seasonal food.
Shade ice stand.
So how do we look at the fruit and vegetables? I mean, we've got like Tony's down there on Main Street, and then we've got our other areas that have got I guess a building that they run out of versus having that tent that he's got, or, you know, that,
It's a very interesting ritual, and I would talk further with you off the record.
okay. I see it. I mean, because we got one up on by the high school, we've got Riley's up there or whatever. And we got the barns and stuff like that. And they're permanent fixture in the neighbor.
Keeps coming in saying, gotta do it.
He just moves the tent.
Gets something to us, but then it's not complete, and then next thing you know, it's wrecked.
Yeah, I
He's
mean, he
just
brings
moving the
another
tent to a
trailer
new
in and
location.
different things like that. So I just figure,
footings and foundation, right?
you know, the others are doing it, he can do it. I mean, not to be mean, but I mean, he's been here as long as I've been here. So I mean, that
might be something where maybe we define this better.
He does have a valid.
Yeah, he does have a business license.
yeah.
Does
And
own that property.
Yeah, he owns the property.
So, I mean.
It's hard to say to tell him what you can do on your own property as long as it doesn't.
The only thing really is you just want to make.
Yeah.
Animals, trash, things like that. And he keeps a pretty clean operation most of the time, but in the off season, it's when it's not really.
mhm. Well, I just thought I'd bring that. I mean,
Agreed.
not singling somebody out, but I mean, we've got all these other fruit stands and stuff that are nice, you know, and he does a pretty good business out of there. So, I mean, so, I don't know.
We've been working with him. Not a bad process. thoughts on any of these other temporary uses? Yard sales, rummage sales, this one's kind of hard in the sense that we don't allow off-site signage for these, but you know that people want to post on telephone poles, whatever. I don't know if there's really anything that you can do about it. Just one of those things that code said you can't. So,
You'd have to have 27 code enforcement officers.
and the only reason for that is people can not their sign.
Right.
But any thoughts on any of these types of uses? Should there be more? Should we regulate them differently? Is there any concerns any of you've had as facing?
Silence is good.
I guess it says may include, but will not be. I'm just thinking of those places that come by and sell rugs and whatever that have super good on rugs or whatever else they put on those things.
You mean like in Payson Market when they have that set up there?
Somebody come by, they have a trailer and they put out 30 rugs or blankets.
Or the bronze statues or whatever.
Mhm.
Have been mean. People set up for a weekend, and they always apply for a license because the rug people.
Question, Marty, did have like the multiple.
It was a mobile health van that,
The mammogram? No.
it was like a.
Shots?
I think it was detox stuff.
Oh, a detox. Okay. Noxline or whatever that is.
What they had going on there, and that's up on that property owned by North Main by,
So the question is, should we have something like that?
On this list.
we could add a thing, but it's very difficult. We could make it more, generic, like a mobile retail.
Or mobile medical.
Or mobile medical.
What about our food trucks? How do we work with that?
Food trucks have their own.
They got their own.
Yeah, they're not necessarily a temporary thing.
So I'm just curious to see how that.
There is.
They're not permanent. That's why I just.
I mean, you could add an H there that just is other temporary uses as approved by staff.
Well, there's the line just below F there that says anything not listed can go to the city council or must be considered by city council. That follows right after F there. So
Yeah,
that it says we can do any temporary use. You just got to ask for it if it's not specifically listed. So, because I had the same thought, like, oh, what do we add to this list? And then when I got reading further, I was like, oh,
yeah, it's
we
down
could
there,
really add
approval
anything.
process.
It's just, they've got to come and ask and say, hey,
They
I'm
gotta
not
ask
on
the
this
city
list. I
council
want to
to
get
approve.
here. Can we do that? And so I think it does leave it open for, I mean, just about anything.
Mobile retail, right, for the sales and things?
Yeah, like the rugs and the blankets and
Like
statues.
lights and things.
Yeah.
The hard thing about, the city council, they may want to be here during this certain window, council's convening.
Right.
And maybe that's their own fault, they should just know, but I don't think it's a high impact typically. So, I mean, I don't know, thoughts from. I do like what Kurt said about other uses, and as identify, food by directed.
Yeah, I like that better than city council, because like you say, going to the city council is at least a 3-week process. At least a 3-week process. It's right. Yeah. So maybe change it, instead of city council, it's the development services director or designee.
And I think that works unless we have a problem, and that's when you have to kick it back, because then somebody's like, "Oh, they just discriminate against me because they don't like me," and then it becomes I think
There's a appeals process.
right at the bottom there, it does have, so you just keep the appeals and say that, well, if they don't like the development service director's decision,
they
then
can
they
go
can
to
go to
city
city
council.
council. And
Yeah.
so I think that keeps us clear that way. But, because, yeah, you get somebody who's like, "Oh, well, they just told me no because
Because they don't
they don't like
my
me."
smoke shop.
Yeah. I can do a temporary smoke shop. Apparently that's fine because I just can't do a permanent one. So,
And that's drug dealer.
just do it behind closed doors.
All right, that is really all I have for you. Look, we are like a minute before 7,
Wow.
unless you're itching to go on to the next chapter.
Well, we still got to go through commissioners and see if there's any reports they want to make. And staff, since all 3 of you are here, you can make comments too. So let's just go down. Anybody have anything that they would like to bring to the body of us that are here? Nope. Okay, that's easy. Staff, anything else?
This weekend is Onion Days. I'm sure everybody knows about that. So go enjoy, have fun there. Staff will be there in one way, shape, or form. Where did Jill go? We do have
She got a phone call.
the South County training. Is that November, Marty? And when that's coming up? So, and I think it's Springville. I think it's Springville that's
Is
doing it.
Springville the one that took
And
it
it's
this
gonna
time?
be mid-November, I think. So they're pushing a little later this year.
Okay.
So, but I think with what we've been doing with these code revisions and stuff, we're calling this training as well. So I think you've got your training for the year.
Thank you.
If you can't make that training.
Can we roll any additional to next year?
I wish it was.
Can't we bank it for next year?
No.
Dang.
Anyway, that's all I have. Marty, did you have any thoughts? Okay.
Okay. I do need a final motion. So what am I?
Motion to dismiss?
Yes, very good.
I'll second.
And all in favor?
Yes.
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 Okay. Anybody oppose? Thank you.